welcome to the birthday of the Division. Ooh. Look, I've even got one of these. Anyway, it is the birthday of the Division to talk about things that are lickable and not so much. Since it's the anniversary, we're going to be celebrating 4 players. We are going to be giving some things away in the game for people that log in between March 9th, that's tomorrow, and Wednesday, March 16th, and you'll get a few things. There is a free emote, and we're going to show you that in a second, which is very cool, a celebration emote. You'll get 200, there it is. Look at that. It's like a Rocky moment.
On the steps.
Yeah. Awesome.
Wrong city.
Punch the air.
Yeah, right.
Solid. Sorry. Wow. Okay. And 200 premium credits for everyone that logs in between those dates. We are going to be having some in-game events, finally. Finally. Yannick, it's happening.
Finally, after these weeks and months of players asking, when are you going to be doing this double kind of thing events that we tried on the PTS back in the days? It's happening.
It's happening?
Yes.
Solid. All right. So those in-game events, double HVT rewards from March 9th, to 11th, 6 p.m. on that day. So you get double rewards from HVTs. That's awesome. And also double field proficiency caches from March 11th to the 15th. Nice. Nice. So a week long to play and get a bunch of stuff. Also, this is the 1-year anniversary stuff. So in case you missed it, that's all the things that are going to be happening next week, starting tomorrow. So we have a lot to talk about on the stream for year 2, but let's talk about what's happening in year 2 right now. So Julian, can you give us like the Cliff Notes version of what year 2 is looking like from your perspective?
I think it's important that we state very clearly that Massive, Reflections in the UK, Red Storm in North Carolina in the States, and ANSI are all committed to this experience.
Yeah.
So we're all committed in supporting the game throughout year 2. One of the things that I really believe in is this spirit of generosity that we put into place for 1.4, that we continue in providing a really healthy, fun, balanced, and challenging game for people. So a few of the things that we wanted to bring, and everything in year 2 is going to be, or all of the content updates that we're going to provide are going to be free content updates. There is no season pass for year 2.
Okay, no season pass, and everything that comes out is going to be released on all platforms at the same time.
At the same time, yes, absolutely. So
awesome. That's cool.
The first content drop that we're thinking of is going to be comprised really of 3 major things. First one, we still haven't settled on a name for it, and I've seen some wildly inappropriate suggestions. But basically, it's a.
I don't even know what you mean by inappropriate. That's like not safe for work.
Let your imagination go wild here.
Yeah, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. But what we're thinking of is what we internally in dev speech have been calling seasons. And these seasons are limited timed events that take a playlist of activities, flip them, like bring strong modifiers that change the way that you play them, and feature rewards for participation, completion, and then competition too.
Okay.
And these seasons will have leaderboards attached to them for the more competitive amongst the community there. That's the first thing, and we really look forward to playing with a little bit of the regular way of playing the activities in the game. Second thing is loadouts. And
yes,
finally,
it's happening.
And I think that's something that everybody's been waiting for. So we're excited about that. I'm excited.
We're actually going to show that later in the stream. Yannick's. We actually set up the PC over here too. We've got to build on it. So Yannick's going to show us a very early preliminary build of loadouts.
Phenomenal.
Yes, it's going to be cool.
And the third thing that we want to bring is, again, it's called Feats at the moment, but I'm not sure that's the final wording for it or the final naming for it. But basically, these are in-game achievements that will reward you with patches that are marks of distinction, basically. And again, here we're thinking of short-term, medium-term, and long-term investment for your activities and actual feats within the game. So if you do something absolutely spectacular, you should have something that you can show off to the rest of the community about that. One of the rewards that we've been keeping back is a brand new vanity slot, and that will be exclusive to seasons.
All right. Well, I guess we don't have anything to show on that today,
No.
but it's going to be something that people haven't seen before, which is very
Haven't
cool.
seen before, and maybe we should wait until we
I
can
think
show.
I think we wait. I want to show it. We'll hold that one.
So that's the first real focus for the first big content drop that we're planning.
All right. So after people saw, the first information that went out about this, not from the right timing, but it became apparent that the focus on story may not be what people were expecting. I know people have been asking for big story missions and those sorts of things. Where do we stand on that?
So, I mean, the thing that blows me away is the attachment to the characters that we have in the
awesome.
game.
That's
The
incredible.
attachment to the narrative that we have in the game. And I'm the first person to say that we do need a narrative context for the activities in the game. But seeing that sort of the enthusiasm over the last few days, we're going to work on seeing, okay, how can we inject more story into year 2? How can we inject more narrative? One thing's for sure though is that a large paid DLC expansion of the playable area into Queens,
Like a level cap increase and
a level cap increase, that's off the table.
Okay. I just want to make it clear to people.
Yeah,
that
I think it's clarity is our friend, and that is really off the table. But we are taking our responsibility towards the narrative of the game very seriously. And
so people will find out more about the lore, about some of the characters.
I'm going to work towards that. I think the second drop, the content drop within year 2, is going to have more of a narrative weight to it, basically.
Right. People have been asking what's happening in year 2? When are these things coming? So where we're at now, what's the next thing that people can expect? I mean, this is your job, Christian. So when do we get stuff?
It is my job. Yes. So we were planning to do this first update in year 2 in summer. So we're targeting July or August. Of course, we want to ship it when it's actually done. In the same spirit we shipped 1.4. We want quality and we want to ship it properly and the right steps to get there. But that's what we target for the time being.
All right. So you'll be cracking the whip, making sure that.
No, I'm not doing that.
I've seen it happen. It's impressive.
Absolutely not.
It's impressive. So summer for.
Yes, summer,
the next
absolutely.
update.
That's the target.
All right.
Well, one thing I think is important to say though is that those 2 content drops won't be the only things that we do for the game. We'll be really taking care of the game, taking care that it's healthy, bug fixing, all throughout the year as well.
So we do have points in the timeline where that's going to be a focus, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
We're going to be reactive to what we've seen as well in live. I mean, there are things that happen that we can fix on a server side, which is easier and faster for us. But there are things that happen that are on the client side of things where we take a bit more time because we actually have to go to the first parties and we have to we have a bigger lead time on that, and that's why it sometimes can be frustrating for the community when we are not fixing it in a couple of hours.
Yeah. So people were asking, Loadouts, when does that come? In which update?
That's the first
That's the first
content
First update.
update.
All right.
So summer.
So it's a few months away.
It's a couple of months away.
Yes.
Because right now we're March. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as we can, but it's coming. But you mentioned the whole difference between client and server-side patches.
Yeah.
So the 2 big content drops.
Yes.
Those will obviously be client fixes. But are there going to be other dates that have client patches as well?
So we are looking also at bug fixing, right? So for that we're gonna be reactive on what is going on when the game is when the patches updates are live. So we're gonna fix as much as possible and make sure that we resolve these problems either with a server-side patch or a client patch. But for that, of course, we don't have a specific date to it, but we are looking at to have a package of fixes that we ship on a client patch.
All right. I wanted to ask you, Drew, more a little bit about the seasonal content.
Get some details.
So, obviously, part of that, we mentioned the whole playlist thing a little bit earlier, and modifiers. Can you talk a little bit more about the gameplay modifiers and things that people might experience?
Yeah, so the idea is that every, what we're calling seasons, I'm going to call it seasons just for simplicity.
I think people understand what we're talking about when we say that.
But basically every season is going to be themed, right? So it's going to have a very specific theme. So I'll give you an example. So one might be very kind of up close and personal focused. So maybe it encourages you to fight within 15 meters or something, right? So maybe the modifier would be that you do decreased damage from outside of 15 meters, but you do increased damage within 15 meters, right? So something to kind of say play up close and personal. Right? And the idea is that we really can shift the meta around a bit. Yeah. So you can't just go in playing like you always do in competing in a season, but it's really to kind of throw a wrench into it. And kind of, it's almost like a puzzle. You'll have to rethink the way your build works to kind of build an optimal build for that particular season.
Okay, will that apply both to PvE and PvP activities? Or do we have some flexibility on that?
We have some flexibility. Right now, we're thinking PvE activities, specifically main missions and things like that. But we're not against to expanding it to other parts of the game. In principle.
Rewards and things may people be looking for? We mentioned the vanity slot stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And leaderboards. What kind of other?
So there's a lot of things we're really looking into, and also we're looking into rewards for participation, but also kind of performance, right? So if you are a really high achieving player, right, and you play a particular mission super well, or in the season overall, we kind of tally up your score, and you score on top of the leaderboards there, then you're going to get special kind of performance related rewards. But also if you just participate, right, and you just want to complete it, you're not really interested in being the best in the world or best even on your friends list or anything like that, then you get special prizes or rewards for completing it. But a lot of these things, we're talking about this new slot that's super cool. I wish I could talk about it, but it's okay. I'll talk about it later.
But the other one.
Well, but we're also talking about. We've talked about emotes. We've talked about. Of course, backpack skins and things like that. We've talked about badges, patches that you can wear, which I think is really cool. And the idea is to kind of theme them as well to the season, right? And these things are not available outside the season. So if you miss the season, sorry, you don't get it that time, right? If you participate in the next season, you'll get the new rewards. But once that time has passed, they're up. Awesome. So they'll be really exclusive, right?
All right. Patches and that other thing.
Yeah.
Solid.
And we've talked about some other things as well, such as we still need to look into some of the UI considerations, but some titles or special symbols or something like that. Some flair, exactly. Yeah. So you can really stand out, and be the ultimate badass.
That's not just for seasons; it's for the feats as well, right?
Yes, right, exactly. That's a really good clarification. Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk about that in a second. Well, in a few minutes, but I really wanted to take a couple of minutes. Yannick's now sitting over at the machine. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
All right. So loadouts, something that the community has been asking for a long time. I can't even count the amount of times that I've said on stream, how cool would it be if we had something like loadouts? It's something that,
right?
I mean,
it's something
you could probably find. I've said that 100 times.
Yeah, it's something that we've wanted to do for a while, and
but it's coming.
We're so excited about getting it into the game.
It really, really is coming, and we can show it for the first time. All right. Oh, okay. Of course.
That was not Loadouts.
Nice one, Yannick. Can you show us the actual thing? All right. Thanks. Okay. So this, Drew, you know quite a bit about this. Again, I would preface this with the fact that this is very much a work in progress one. This is actually kind of old.
Yes.
There's a lot more to come on this, but this is the way loadouts might look for players.
Yeah, it's the general kind of framework, exactly.
All right. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, so right here, there's this tab, as you can see, when you open your inventory. It's called Loadouts.
It's a good name.
I'll wait for
What have you done,
for
Yannick?
Yannick to make
space,
room.
apparently I can't equip it.
But you can see here, he went over to the Loadouts tab, and immediately you see there's what, 5 slots, I
I
think.
think there's 6 slots.
6 slots.
Yeah.
No, you're right. There's 6 slots. I'm sorry.
the best
Counting is very difficult.
Yeah.
Six-piece Predator.
6-piece Predator, new meta, guys.
Yeah. So
Solid.
so there's 6 slots, right? And you can basically save your equipped loadout, right? And you can save it, and then you can also, once you save it, you can jump to that loadout at any time and re-equip all those things in that loadout.
Awesome.
So, for example, if I want to run, we'll go back a couple patches meta. If I want to run my Alpha Bridge meta, right? And then I want to go in the Dark Zone and I want to run Banshee or something like that, right? Like I would have 2 different loadouts. And so right as I'm going into the Dark Zone, instead of manually going through, changing everything, swapping out all of my performance mods and things like that, I could just simply go to the Loadouts tab, select the loadout, maybe it's Bravo or something like that, and boom, it's equipped immediately.
Solid.
So,
All right. Again,
Capacity issue.
I don't know if this is the build problem or just Yannick being a bit
It's the
a bit of a noob.
curse of a live demo as well. So
yeah.
Noob
absolutely.
Yannick, confirmed.
I just have to, I generated too many items in my
Yeah.
Okay.
I also want to point out that it's not just your weapon and your gear and your
Okay.
mods.
Yeah.
It's actually your skills and your talents too.
Okay.
So
That's
that
awesome.
way, you can have this is my group build, this is my, my solo build, this is my Dark Zone build. Like you can have all those different things kind of going.
Yeah. And people are already loving the best spelling mistake ever.
Oh,
Yeah,
do they
it's
see it?
Yeah.
Alpha. With an F.
Alpha?
it's difficult not
That
to
in
see
some
it.
languages, in some languages is correct.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah?
Yeah.
let's say in French, comme c'est le vinyle.
Even it's alpha.
What? So Romanian, this is
It's
correct.
actually spelled like that.
Yeah.
All right.
do
So
have
guys,
it
we're just
because of
developing in Romanian now.
Yeah. No.
It's totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things, and I think this is one of the things we are looking to do. I don't know if I'm, blowing the lid on something. Yannick might punch me, but we're looking to have the capability of we can create template builds for people to try and attain, and then they can be like, oh, I don't quite have this yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's something we want to do. We'll probably not be in for this summer.
Yeah.
But that's something
it'd
down
be
the
really
line that's
cool.
an expansion that we want to do, right? Is we want to.
I'm absolutely passionate about that.
Yeah.
To help people to get to grips with, okay, what is an
do I want?
ideal loadout here?
Yeah.
I think it's a great feature. So we won't only be catering to the hardcore players who want to switch between their best gear. It's also helping players who maybe are less hardcore, who want to get to know more about what are the possibilities.
Yeah.
I also think it's great for experimentation too, though. To be honest,
Definitely.
That to me is something that it's an obstacle right now, really, to experiment too much because you're spending a lot of time in menus, right? Like that's not the best way to do that. So that's why Loadouts is great. It's like 2 button presses and you have a completely new gear set. to
Yeah.
play, so.
And you can. What people have been doing that have been asking for this tool for a long time, we all have 4 characters that we equip with different things.
Exactly.
You log out, you log in, there's
Yeah.
all these things, and then some things are split across different characters and all that sort of stuff. So it's, I'm very excited about it. It's very, very cool. You mentioned something about Feats a little bit earlier, which is very, very cool. We didn't have a chance to really go in depth on it. What were you talking about?
With Feats?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Feats are kind of... So like as Julian mentioned before, they're both kind of celebrating moments of amazing performance and also kind of almost like a checklist of sorts as well, right? So I'll give you an example. Completing all 3 legendary modes, right? That would be a feat. And you would get a patch on that. And you could wear that, right? And so when you're walking around in the game with that patch, people know that you beat all 3 legendary modes, right? That's super impressive. But there's also things like, trigger 1,000 weak points or something like that. There's also things like that are kind of more grindable and things like that. And to be honest, when it goes live, a lot of people will probably notice that they have already achieved some.
Yeah. So they're going to be
Absolutely.
retroactive as well.
Yeah.
Retro.
I also
Because
saw
it's retroactive.
there might be some ones that are like multi-step. Like if you have 1,000 weak points, there might be like the next level of that and the next level. Of
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And again, I legitimately don't know, so this is unconfirmed. Are there any timed ones? Like complete X in less than 20 minutes and...
Yeah, so we're still kind of going through exactly what, but that is...
This is my submission.
Yeah. That is something, though, that we are looking into.
All right.
Whether
I'll
it
take it.
makes the cut or not, I'm not sure. So it's still very much work in progress.
All right. I mean, I think it's going to be great because it gives people a clear set of things to wants to do to actually get something really cool out of it. Question for you. I mean, we did ask when Update 1.7 will release, but can we talk a little bit more about what would happen around that? We said that we're looking at involving the community in those sorts of things.
Absolutely. So we've seen what we did with the PTS before 1.4 actually, and we wanted to be in that spirit as I mentioned. Is that we've seen how good is that for us to get the feedback, to keep it long, and we get the players involved, the community, and then we get live feedback, things that we cannot get internally because we don't possess such large pool of players, right? And we try to do that, and we're gonna do that for the updates for year 2 for sure. Now we're gonna do that. We're gonna try to do that for consoles as well for the first time. We actually tried to do that for Last Stand, but on console side, it's not a unusual thing to have a public test server. So that's why when we investigated this, it took a bit more time. But now we're going to take that time to make sure that we will do it for consoles as well and have the feedback for console players, because I know that was the thing that was very much requested.
I mean, it's definitely something the community have wanted. I mean, we really
wanted to.
We want to do it. We've definitely been trying.
Absolutely. As much as we can, we want to get more people, more players involved on all platforms.
Yes.
And we're going to try to get for PTSs for all platforms. For each big update that we're going to do.
A few things to go through because the issue in Last Stand with people that have been talking about, people padding their scores through doing the healing thing, that's gone tomorrow. But if you missed some of the news from today, between March 9th to March 16th, that's tomorrow until about a week later, you'll get 200 free premium credits to spend at the store. You'll get a free emote. This little thing, you can see in the corner there. Can we full screen? Yeah. Yes! So that'll show up for you. There's going to be 2 in-game events, and let me just look. That's the double HVT rewards and the double proficiency caches. They will be running. The first half of the week will be the HVTs. Second half will be field proficiency caches. So lots of loot to come, which is awesome for everyone that signs in and plays during those days. All right, so year 2 is a thing. There's going to be 2 free content updates. There's nothing that you have to pay for in year 2, just to confirm that. Because people are still asking, is it going to be a season pass and that sort of thing?
No, there's no season pass. This is the continued support that the dev teams involved with the division are pushing. Exactly. So, first one, we're aiming for summer, seasons, loadouts, feats. And the second one, we're looking at doing something more narrative, delivering something that is highly replayable still, because we know that that's where people get engaged. But all of this in the spirit of generosity and fun, balanced fun, and challenge that we had for 1.4.
Awesome. So lots to talk about in year 2 as the year progresses. And Yannick and I still have a job. So feels good. You're stuck with me, Yannick.
Yeah, apparently.